Welcome into QB Academy. Jeremy Huber joined today by Elite 11 quarterback coach Paul Troth. Of course, also played at ECU, also a pretty high-level high school football career in your own right. Paul, so glad to have you along with us today.
No problem. Nice to see you. Nice to have you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Good stuff. Again, want to talk a little bit about some quarterbacks today. So many good ones in the Washington, D.C. area. And, Paul, we're going to go ahead and get right into your rankings when it comes to who are the best guys in the area. We're going to start off with your list of top 5 senior quarterbacks. And we'll start at number 5 with West Potomac's Mark Ellis.
Mark Ellis, size is very impressive. Plays in an offense that's going to put up a lot of numbers. He's a lefty, so that's what I think has thrown some people off on the recruiting trail. But in terms of size, knowing football, throwing the football, making plays, his highlight tape speaks for itself. Can push the ball downfield. He's going to have athletes around him to make plays. And for him, he's just got to establish himself in terms of the leadership role even more this year. And I think it's going to be very exciting to see his maturation continue. And anybody that's looking for a quarterback needs to get on this guy because he's very impressive size-wise. He's only going to get bigger. And his knowledge of the spread game in that offense is going to be great for the next level.
And, of course, really, he's been a key role in that West Potomac team becoming a challenger to the top dogs in that conference in Lake Braddock in South County. Mark Ellis has done some really good things for the Wolverines. Our number 4 quarterback on your top 5 seniors list, Paul, it's Jimmy Check out of Paul VI.
Yeah, Jimmy, he's basically risen the ranks from the spring till now. I mean, here's a kid who he played receiver on a 7-on-7 team just to get exposure. He understands his situation is a little different being at Paul VI. They play in a smaller conference, so he was going to maximize his platform as best he could. His tape, he's off-platform throws are great. His size is another advantage. But the biggest thing for Jimmy is he has a photographic memory. There's things that he can do mentally that not many college guys can do. And that's what separates him. And so he's almost a play ahead. When I've seen him play, he knows exactly where to go with the football. And he's going to make plays and be a very good quarterback for this area. And then at the next level at Yale, there's a kid right there who has his priorities in order because not only he wants to get a great education, but he's going to go and play football for a big-time university.
Again, anytime you get a chance to play at that next level, always something good. Jimmy Check of Paul VI, definitely a guy, as we see here, a guy who can go ahead and get some things done. Well, we're going to continue our look at Paul's top 5 senior quarterback list after we take this break.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at OleMetSports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting, interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob, and you got to remember to hashtag it, Ole Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at OleMetSports.com. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to QB Academy. Elite 11 quarterback coach Paul Troth joining us and releasing his top 5 senior quarterbacks list. Paul, let's go ahead to number 3. It's a guy from in the District of Columbia. It's Stephen Williams of Wilson.
This kid, his tape is very fun to watch. And I think it's an extension of his coach. His coach is a great offensive mind. I think the biggest thing for Stephen Williams that jumps off the tape is just playmaker. Playmaker all over the board, gets the ball out of his hands. And ODU is getting a steal because this kid, I tell you, when he pushes the ball down the field and he makes plays, it's fun to watch. He also knows where he's going with the football every time. It's very evident when we watch the tape. He goes through his progressions, and then when it breaks down, he can make plays.
And again, we see some of the action here, and he was a huge reason behind them getting to the Turkey Bowl this year. And again, didn't knock off Woodson, but again, had them as the best team in the regular season out of the DCIAA. So Stephen Williams, number 3 on your list. Let's get to number 2, a guy maybe didn't get as much pub because maybe where he plays at, but Isaiah Robinson of Avalon.
This kid is a sleeper. Okay, and I'm telling, if any Division I coaches are watching, this kid is a stud. Had a chance to watch him at 2 Elite 11 regionals, one in DC, one in Charlotte, and he single-handedly pushed every big-time quarterback that was ahead of him. He just loves the game, and he is the hardest working kid that I have met at this position in probably the past 5 years. Coach Spinner has a great one. He's been coached up well by those Spinner brothers. And the biggest thing for Isaiah is just continuing to be consistent. I think his size is very impressive. His arm talent is very impressive. For him, consistency is going to be the key heading into this year. And I think when he pushes the ball down the field and he makes these off the, he's on the far hash here and he's delivering the ball on time in the seams, just know that he can throw it on the other side of the field and the ball gets there in time as well. So excited, sleeper, big things coming for Avalon for Isaiah Robinson.
And of course, our number one guy on your list, it's the guy that we've talked about before, the transfer from Gilman coming into St. John's. A lot of hopes on him, Kasim Hill.
Here's a kid who just consistently does his job, right? And he knows what he needs to get done. At the regional, he knew he was the big dog. He knew the big target was on him. Everybody was coming for him in DC. And he rose to the occasion. He was the best quarterback at our spring regional. He's very fundamentally sound and been well coached. I think for him, he loves to compete. He wants that next challenge. And St. John's is a place that for the past couple of years, they haven't had that QB1, so to speak. This guy comes in, he's gonna be able to make all the throws. And for all the local folks that are Maryland fans, trust that you got the good one. I know we were all disappointed. But most of them were disappointed that Haskins spurned you at the last minute, but you're getting just as good a quarterback with Kasim Hill. And I think for what Coach Durkin is doing, this kid's toughness, his mindset, his competitive mindset is going to fit very well for the Terps.
Yeah, again, he coming from Gilman, but his coaching staff left there, so not just the kind of guy running around, actually had behind it. So coming to St. John's, a place where really, and again, if you talk about taking a challenge on, if he wins at St. John's, that'll be big because they've been looking for that WCAC title. Real quickly, want to go ahead and take a quick look at some underclass QB, classmen QB that have caught your eyes so far. The list of a few guys, including McDonough's DeJuan Ellis, also Tyler Raymond of St. James, Seth Aguinobi of Episcopal, Justin Allen of Tuscarora.
This underclass group has a very high ceiling. When you look at them on tape, they can all throw the football. Probably for me, looking at it, DeJuan Ellis sticks out just because when you turn on the tape, there's not many defenses that can compete with what he does with his speed and then what he can do off script. If I had to call plays for him, it'd probably be a couple plays and then just let him do what he does. I think for DeJuan, he needs to get a little bit more discipline. But the one thing that I know about him is he wants to become a great quarterback. He doesn't want to be labeled as an athlete. And what's great about DeJuan is that desire to get better as a quarterback and hone his craft. Again, we go to Tuscarora, traditional power out in Loudon, and there's a big task ahead for Justin Allen. He's a sophomore coming in, and I think for him, the best thing that he has around him is a quality coaching staff, veteran leadership, and his ability to make plays off script as well. He's not that designed runner that Daniel Smith was, but he can make plays when the pocket breaks down, and he's extremely competitive. He's been around the USA football camps for a long time, and he's gone against the best in the nation. So it's not going to be anything new to him. It's just getting consistency out of his play on Friday night.
Quick thoughts on Raymond and also on Aguinobi.
In terms of my biggest sleeper in the junior class is Tyler Raymond. Tyler Raymond is from Canada. He's 6 foot, maybe, but again, we at Elite 11, we don't care about height. We go straight to the hand size. This kid has the same size hands as myself. His stroke is the best pure stroke around. He can throw back shoulder, cover 2 balls. He can throw tight window dig balls with anticipation. And you talk about a student of the game, nobody's going to beat Tyler Raymond on the board. So in terms of knowing what his strengths are, he plays to those. And in terms of his weaknesses, he can't control how tall he is. So he's going to make sure he is better on every other aspect of his game. And going forward, I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. In terms of our quarterback at
Tagovailoa,
Yeah,
yes.
I didn't even want to go ahead and attempt that. Again, he's in a quality program. Again, his size is going to be his biggest advantage. And then for him, making these throws on time, as you can see here, he's very good, very solid, very impressed when I turn on the tape, and he knows exactly where to go with the football. Probably want to see a little bit more off script playing when the pocket breaks down, but when you play behind a solid offensive line, sometimes you don't have to worry about that. Those guys are top underclassmen headed into this 2016 season.
Tagovailoa, a guy that actually had a chance to call his game against Woodbury Forest. They're big the game. They played in front of a few thousand people. Led a comeback in that one against what was basically a college-level crowd. So this guy, he's got a little stuff to his game as well. Well, Paul, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, all your Elite 11 things, so many good things you're doing for quarterbacks. You got a lot to talk about. Again, we love having a chance to check out with you all year long, talking about the quarterbacks in the DC area.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.